Hi everyone! Welcome to Tracy Bautista Color. Thanks for hanging in there for a couple of extra minutes. My camera wasn't being recognized. We had a couple of power outages, I think because of the heat here for the last couple of days, and I think that's what caused my camera not to show up. So, thank you all for being here, and I hope that you are all having a relaxing Sunday. Or I don't know, some of you it might be Monday. Let me see who's here. Sandra, Donna, Karen, Pearlin, Heather, Michelle. Nice to have you all here. South Georgia, Florida, Pennsylvania, Brooklyn, New York. Great to have you online with me. If you are here, please say hi and let us know where you are tuning in from. I am super excited to share with you some new fun stuff. If you are new to me, my name is Tracy Bautista, and I am an artist, a mixed media artist, paint maker, a product designer, manufacturer, author, educator, and all the above. But I really love sharing creativity and all of my really fun handcrafted artisanal watercolors, inks, and mixed media products that I've been making for since I started in 2010 making them for myself, but didn't start selling them till 2017. So what is that? I can't do the math. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24. 7 years. Yeah. And I have created a number of products over the last 7 years, and many of you have been awesome and supportive and have many of the collections of paints and inks. And so today I wanted to talk to you and share some of the new things that are happening in the studio. And some of you probably are here because you saw either my Instagram post or my emails announcing my new product line, which is the InkBlend Watermedia Swatch Sheets. And I'm so excited about these. I actually started experimenting with this idea probably in like 2018 or 2019. And I tested out my formulations. I made a bunch of different types of paints to see what would work, and I tested out all kinds of different substrates, and then I played with them for a little bit, but I never launched them publicly, and then I kind of tucked them away, and I was going through a bunch of artwork, and I found the original sheets that I had played with and created this product back in the day. And I was trying to find photographs because I know I took a bunch of photographs too. So I was trying to see when I actually did start making them, but I'm pretty sure it was probably 2018. And then I thought, well, I think I want to start to see if I can refine this even further. And I'm so excited. I have a lot of some of my samples that I'm going to share, some of the things that I've created, and I'm going to do a little color mixing demo and also some swatching and talk about what you can do with these sheets. And it is basically I'm going to hold one up. These are the Excel sheets, which I didn't put on the website yet. The two sets that I have available are the mini swatch sets. So you get 6 of the colors inside of the set. But this is one of the Excel sheets. And so you can see it's got a bunch of different paint colors on there and pigment colors. So the formula is actually a blend of pigment and dye, so watercolor and ink. And it took me a while to figure out how to make this the way that I wanted to and the way that it would work. So it's been a lot of fun just playing and testing these. And so I'm going to share with you how these work. And they're meant to be tucked into your sketchbook or journal so you could work on the go, so you don't have to take like a huge pan of paints with you. So these are water media, water soluble, so they work just with the wet brush. You just need a water brush or a regular paintbrush, and you can use them and paint right in your sketchbook. So that's why I created them. I had actually created them to bring some of my paints on the road, and it's been a lot of fun. I'll show you some samples when I bring the computer down. I'm just moving some of them over here. And we're going to talk about that. I'm also going to share a little peek into the wildflower collection and talk to you a little bit about and share a sample of my new Wander and Bloom live workshop. So I've been teaching live workshops probably since 2010 and live online, I should say. And I love this format. And so this particular workshop is going to be for a day and, well, 4 hours. And then there's a bonus live Q&A play session, which will be hosted on a separate day. So you can soak everything in on the first day, and then we'll have a follow-up where you can share your work and also ask questions. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that coming up. And then I was going to give you a preview of my Artisan's Choice mystery boxes, but they got all scooped up today. So I do have some of the palettes, so I'm going to share some of those, but I think everything is sold out, and there's, I think, over 15 boxes online. And so this one was the first time that I actually did kind of a artist choice. Most of the time I just make these different mixed media boxes, but this time everybody got to choose the different types of tiles. So every time I create a collection, I end up creating a little bit of excess, and so I had all of these tiles that I found actually in one of my boxes of all of my watercolors. So I decided to create these mystery boxes with those. So I'm really excited to share what I have for you. Okay, so we're going to dive in. Grab your sketchbook, and if you want to play and paint while you are watching, I would love that. And I'll probably be asking some questions while I am painting and talk a little bit more about the creative process. But I really want to show you what you can do with these different paints and inks and handcrafted watercolors. Okay, let me switch my table to my studio table. My camera looks a little crooked. Let's go this way. Okay. What am I looking at here? Let's move this over. You don't really need to see my water. And I brought a couple of the inks from the Wildflower collection too. And some of the tiles, let's see. Okay, good. Everything looks like it's working well. Let's see. So many of you are probably wondering what these are, and each one is slightly different. They're all handmade or hand painted, so it's kind of it's actually a really fun process. Once I actually make the paint and the ink, and then paint them as I go. So I really love what happens, and it's kind of really fun to see what happens once they dry, because sometimes they change quite a bit from the original. And then I have just a few little pieces that I put in here. So I started creating little mini samples because I wanted to, I put them in some of my orders, but I wanted just to show you kind of what some of these look like. So some of them have a little bit of metallic flake on them. So when you dip into those areas, you actually will see a little bit of shimmer, and they're pretty vibrant. Oh, you know what? I think, oh yeah, I do have that. I do have the swatches. I wanted to make sure I had the swatches. Let's see what goodies are in here. I just grabbed a bunch of things from my paint making table. If you ordered the mini collection for the Wildflower collection, those are the tiles that will be shipped out. Some of them, they're going to start shipping later next week. I think it's towards like the 15th, pending the weather. So many of you know, if you are a Pigment Bars customer, I have delayed the shipping I had to delay it for a week because our temperatures were 100, it was 104 yesterday. Was that yesterday, I think? And the previous day. So I wanted to make sure and be safe that you didn't get like a melted bunch of Pigment Bars when they showed up on your doorstep, which they're totally fine. They're perfectly fine to use if they melt, but they won't look as pretty. So I just wanted to kind of show you what I've been playing with and how I am working with these. So I've been testing out lots of different packaging and the ways that I think would be fun to display them. And so I would love your feedback, what you think. I really like that, like something like this, even though it's plastic, this is actually a great palette sleeve. So inside here you can hold the actual Watermedia sheets, but then you can also use this as a palette. So it's reusable. I'm really trying to get away with anything that is plastic, but because you can actually use these to print make the sleeves and to mix paints, I'm not too opposed to using them. I'd rather you not throw them away, but recycle them. But I also love that with this packaging, you can actually see the color versus something like this. I like this also, and this is completely compostable, but you can't see the color as well. So I've just been playing with them. And then one of my favorites also is chipboard. So this is fun because you could put it on something like this that's chipboard, and then you could just tack it into your sketchbook that way, or you could just take these and take a little tape runner and put them into your sketchbook. And so that's what I'm going to do right now with a couple of these, just to show you. But I just wanted to show you kind of the format of what these look like. So they have lots of different, usually probably 2 to 5 different pigments in there as far as colors go. And then there's sometimes a little bit of mica or sparkle metallic flake in there. And my favorite ones are also the ones that have like the multiple colors, because when you start to dip into the different areas, you get this beautiful duotone mark. And I'll show you some of those samples. We'll paint a little bit and I'll show you some of those samples. This is the journal class we're gonna do, but these colors are from these sheets, and they're so vibrant and really bold. The lighting in here is really bright right now, but you can actually see some of the sparkle when the sun is shining, but I don't have direct sunlight. But I just wanted to show you that really quickly. Okay, let me grab. And then here's another sneak peek. If you are an artisanal Watermedia Play box subscriber, if you don't want to see the tile, close your eyes. But if you don't mind it, I'm really excited about this. This is the new, for those of you who are in the Watermedia Play subscription, I created these wildflower inspired watercolor tiles. So they're a lot of fun, and you should see them all lined up. They look like these little pieces of artwork, and they were really fun to create. And once in a while, I'll do a really special tile like this versus just swatching. So if you saw all of the different tiles that were available in the mystery box this morning, then you kind of get a range. You got to see the range of what I create when I make these tiles. So those are, let's move some of these over here. Let's see, let me look at while I bring out my sketchbooks. You know what I'm gonna do? I am actually gonna bring out a couple tiny sketchbooks because I don't have a lot of space. And then also my handmade sketchbook, and maybe a couple of my, these are some of the wildflower pigment bar colors. This is my testing pages. Oh, here you can see this too. So these are actually the watercolors. Look at those. The pink is really fun. That's, I think, probably my favorite. These three are probably like my favorite from the collection. So these are the watercolors right here. And then these, there was probably about 15 different colors of pigment bars that I made for this collection. Here's my samples that I have for myself. And I'll pull out a couple of those. I'm going to do an unboxing of that probably in a week or so once the pigment bars ship. But you get to see a little sneak peek of the wildflower collection. This pink was really fun. I haven't made a pink in a while. Let's see. We have people from Canada, BC. Carrie's from Oregon. I'm not sure your name. Rakiska. She says, I have your collage unleashed and stencils from Stencil Girl. Awesome. I hope you're enjoying my book. Yeah, Carrie says, love the mystery box. It's hard to get them. Yes, they are. They go very quickly. And thanks, Heather. She said so pretty. Thanks for not shipping melted wax. Yes, definitely don't want to ship melted wax. Okay, so let's play. This is a moleskin, and I actually also have some little pieces of paper. I also love like just swatching on. I have some mixed media paper, Strathmore mixed media paper, some of the Strathmore printmaking paper, and I think a little bit of watercolor paper. So anytime I do swatching, I just cut down larger sheets, and then I have a stack of these papers that I have just sitting next to my paint area, so that anytime that I want to create these little swatch cards, I can. So that's always a great tip. If you have time, just create some simple swatch cards. So I have a little journal that I've been swatching in for a long time. Almost everything in here is color that I made from all my various collections. I should have been better about labeling the collections, but most of them I could probably go back and like look and see with other journals. But this is a moleskin. It's got like heavy paper, so it must be like watercolor paper. I don't know what I don't know. I don't have time to read that. And then Stillman and Byrne. These are fun. This is also, I just love having like these little tiny swatch journals to experiment and to play. This was my Lonnie Kai collection. This is probably one of my all-time favorite colors that I designed. It's called Man O' War, and you can't see it here, but this is it right here. It's got this pink undertone, and actually one of the sheets has that color in it too, which is really, really fun. So I'm going to do a little bit of swatching inside here. This was also from my Lonnie Kai collection. That was in 2021 is when I designed that collection. And it was really, really, really fun collection. Okay. So I think I'll paint in some of these on my little swatch cards, and then show you also the journal in a minute. Let's see. Heather says, I love the peach color. Brenda says, I blinked and missed the mystery box. I know. I probably will try to do some more, maybe later in the summer. We'll see how it goes. Thank you, Heather. She said that journal is adorable. I'm not sure which one you're referring to because I'm just going back to seeing. And Karen says, I'm new and managed to get a mystery box. Well, welcome, welcome. At about 5 a.m. East Coast time. Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Welcome. Well, I hope that you'll enjoy them. I'm excited for everybody to try all the products. They've been so fun to design and to develop. I'm thinking about doing some fun live streams that give you a little bit behind the scenes peek at how I go about designing the collection. So I'd love for you to let me know if that's something that interests you. So one of the fun things is that if you are traveling, you could take these little sheets and what I would do is, this one I don't think is wet, so, but if you don't want it to stick to anything, if you have something that's kind of like, I usually use the back of a label. I don't think I have any sitting here, but that's fine. We'll just do it this way. So I just use this little tape runner to put a little bit of tape in here, and this is again like just a great thing. If you wanted to just have a little bit of color, on the go that you could work with, you could tape it into your sketchbook just like this. Or you could take it and either staple it onto something. So like this is great too. So when you get these, you actually will get one of these palette sheets. So you could take it and even like staple it if you wanted to, and then you'd have like this really cool little palette to work on. So that's another option. I'm gonna put one of the green ones in here too. So if you're traveling, if you're like in the pickup line, picking up your kids, or watching sports, like my nieces play volleyball, and the tournaments are like all day. So if you want to bring your sketchbook, I'm putting this over it so that I don't get my fingers on there, because my fingers are a little sweaty. It's so hot today. But like something like this is great because you could take this and a water brush. I don't have a water brush with me, but do I? I don't know. I don't see one. But I'm gonna just do a little fun swatching. I think my brushes are dirty. Oh, thanks, Heather. Yeah, she said the handmade journal. She said that's so pretty. Adorable. Sandra says, please try to make more mystery boxes. Yes, I will. Yeah, and for those of you who are my subscribers, you got a little head start, but then, you know, it depends on the time frame too, because I'm on the West Coast. So, you know, it's earlier for me, but I realize some of you are probably sleeping when the email went out on the East Coast. Okay, I just wanted to clean this brush out. I'm notorious for leaving paint on my brush, which is a big no-no, but it's only watercolor, so it's not, I'm not too worried about it. And the nice thing about these two is that you can mix them with other color and other watercolors, and you know, you get some really fun effects. Some of them are a little bit more textured, the paint that's inside them are on them, and then some of them have a little bit of mica, so you'll notice that they'll have a little shimmer. And I don't know if you can actually, I'm going to pull these other swatches that I did. just grabbed the wrong brush. Gio! Hey! I just saw your message. Great to hear from you. That's so awesome. Okay. So all you need is a little bit of water, and you just need a little tiny bit, and you can pick it up. Hold on, my brush has got a lot of water on it. And then you just pick up a little bit of the color. And if you want to paint straight from here, you can, you know, I'm just going to do a couple of swatches really quick, and then I'll paint probably a floral. But I just want to show you this paper. I don't know, I think this is actually not like watercolor paper. The Alpha series, I want to say it's probably drawing paper, but I use watercolor on it all the time. And you can see how vibrant that is. I want to mix it. This is green, so I'm actually going to take one of the other tiles that has a little bit of blue over here that I didn't put any tape on the back of it. And I want to mix this with that color. So I can either take a little tray. I also cut a little piece of the tile and put it in here with some water and let the color come off of it that way. But I can just take a little bit. It already had that color in it. I'm going to do that swatch here first, and then I'm going to mix them together. So I love at least just testing out color first and swatching it, because then you kind of get a really good idea of what the colors do. And using different brushes too will give you different results. Like I can also take a little bit of that color and drop it in there while it's wet. And then I'll start to layer on some additional mixed media so that I can see how these colors, you know, work with some of my other supplies. So you can use any mixed media, but I'm gonna use I'm gonna do a quick resist with my pigment bars. I also started playing with like these little mini pieces. So I'm thinking about doing like a little sampler kit with mini pieces of the pigment bars, so that if you want to try them, I think it'd be a fun way to experiment with them. Yeah, see, it's already like I turned off my air conditioning because I didn't want it to be loud, but I can feel in my hands because it's so warm here. So the pigment bars act as a really nice resist. You know, I didn't really make any kind of pretty mark. I just did a quick scribble just so you could see the resist with the pigment bar. And then sometimes I like to just pick it up with the paper so that I get those little beads of color out of there. But that's the one great thing about any water media. You can use it as a resist. You can actually also use the pigment bar on top of the paints. And then let's do a little bit of the green so you can see the green color. This particular green tile has a little bit of a really pretty, it's like a yellow green color underneath it, but it also has a little bit of, I think there's a little bit of ultramarine blue in this particular tile. So you can actually see this is a little bit of a warmer like yellow in there in that, and then you get a little bit of the green bluish. It's like a bluish green. I don't know if it comes through on the camera as well, but and then when you add a little bit more water, it's almost like a gray, which is really interesting. But it could be because I didn't really clean out my brush very well too. So that's one of the things I love about painting with water media. The more that you just kind of like, I don't clean my brush very often, which is, I'm sure is not, you know, it's not very it's a no-no. You should clean your brush more, but I just mix, and then I mix the things right together. But You can see the different colors in there. So when you purchase the teal thistle set, you get 6 different tiles, and you'll get a range of greens and teal, blue, and thistle kind of colors. So there's a little bit of purple in this particular one. There's like three or four different colors in this one tile. And then when you mix it with the other green, then you get, you know, another set of colors. And then I can take that and just mix it also with the color from above. That this one, I'm just using what's left in here, and I'll probably get more of a grayish purple, but it also has this beautiful duotone undertone to it. So there's a little, and it's sometimes really hard to see in this particular camera, but it's got a little bit of a pink undertone under there when you look at it, and there's a little bit of a grayish color when it dries. So I just really encourage you to mix them together and play and, you know, have fun with the process. And then like this particular one, you can actually see the different pigments inside of it. There is a little bit of violet, there's a little bit of pink. The other color in here is this like really kind of ruby poppy red color, and then there's a little bit of a darker purple that's on there, but then there's also this like greenish purple mica, and you can actually see it in there. It is right there. Can you see it right there when I tilt it in the light? So this one's a lot of fun too. Let's see what happens if what's on my brush? What did I just do? Oh yeah, I use that. I'm gonna take some of it out on here, and then let's pull. I think one of the videos that I shared on my YouTube channel has a little bit more of like a little bit more in-depth swatching. Yeah, is my last one that I did. So that on that side has this kind of like really pretty pink lavender color, but then if I move over to this corner and pick up some of this color over here, and again, this size is a mini. This is part of the set that's in the shop now, but I also have these XL tiles that will be coming out eventually. I was just testing them out, but I'm really loving how those are coming out. So that's the fun thing about these, is that you're gonna get different colors depending on the area that you dip your brush into. So if you are a Pigment Bars subscriber, you actually got one of these mini samplers in your box when you get your box, actually I should say, because some of them went out, but not majority of them did not because of the weather. Let's see. Karen says beautiful colors. Color makes me so happy. I know, thank you. Yes, Sandra, I will not forget my East Coast people. Let's see, Heather asks, so pretty. So when we place an order, how many of the squares are sent? So the 2 sets that are in the shop right now, you get 6 tiles, and they range up to size up to 2 by 2. And so this one is probably closer to a 2 by, well, it's probably like a 1.5 by 1.5, but you'll get a variety of the colors in that family. So one is the teal. It's almost similar to a lot of the colors that are in here. This has about 5 different colors in it, but you'll get 6 different swatch tiles in there. And some of them, I also experimented with some of them that look a little bit more flat, which is kind of fun because this actually has like probably 4 or 5 different layers of color. So as you use it, certain areas may change a little bit because the color underneath is covered. So it's like a fun little surprise mix that you end up you end up getting when you start painting with it. And then some of them you can actually see. This one I think I use, so you can actually see a few of the different colors that are in there. But I really love the way that they end up looking, because sometimes I scratch into them too to give them a little bit more texture. And then when I paint on it over the top again, then it changes the way the colors mix. And you can see here too, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but there's a bit of a texture in the mica that's in that particular color, and the pigment. So it kind of has this really cool, I don't know, pattern in that one. Okay, so one of the things I want to show you also is, I don't know if you can see it in here. So these are some of the colors from the Fuchsia Blossoms set. And same with this one too. So different papers. This is, I think this is Strathmore Mixed Media paper. And then this is a sketch. It's actually like a sketch drawing paper, but that's why it's buckling, because it might be a sketch watercolor paper, but it's not heavy. So it definitely has a little buckle, but I really love how the paints look on here. You see a little bit more of the separation of the pigment. You actually will get a piece of this paper inside your order, because I just really loved what it did with the paint colors. And a little bit different, like when you look at it on this paper, there's something about the way that, like, this one is one of my favorites. This is that, let's see if I could find it. It's probably, no, I think it might be closer to this color, that one, maybe there. It's actually probably a mixture of two different ones. This would be fun to make like as a really large painting. So now that I did these little swatches with that, I want to show you a little fun. We'll just paint. Oops, I got water all over that. Let's see. Let me get we'll use this dagger striper. Heather says, thanks. I look forward to testing out. Yes, I know. I can't wait to see what you all create. I'm really excited about these. Will the swatches say the names of the paints? No, well, not each swatch, because they're the way that I create them, it would be too difficult to do that, but they will have they will, be together, so you'll be able to know which collection they're from. I shouldn't say never. I hardly ever name my paint, like individual paints. I tend to, I'm trying to move, I want to move the sketchbook a little closer. I tend to just name the collection, and once in a while I do name the colors, but I don't put the names on the actual tiles or anything like that. So I have a silver brush, black velvet dagger striper. Many of you know this is like one of my fave brushes. We're gonna do a little purple. Any kind of dagger striper, actually. So yes, you'll know there'll be a insert that will tell you like what's in the package, but again, like on the actual tile, it doesn't have a name. So these dagger striper brushes are awesome for painting florals, and this particular brush is probably their top of the line watercolor, Watermedia type of brush. It's just like so flowing. I don't know all the statistics about it. Here, I can tell you. I have my little brush guide because they make so many brushes, but this is one of my favorites. If you're not familiar with theirs, it's their watercolor short handle, and it's a unique blend of natural and synthetic filaments. It says the only brush with enormous capacity to hold fluid. So it has like, it'll hold a lot of water and then it snaps back into place. I mean, look at, it's like, I've used this thing a lot and it's still super pointy, and I am bad about, I told you, I'm really bad about cleaning, keeping them clean. So I definitely am not the ideal student when it comes to that, cleaning them. The fun thing about these two is that you could also kind of just like, you know, make some really crazy little marks with it like that. And, oops. The other favorite, which is this, which one did I use? Yeah, this one. I forgot to say, is the Golden Natural blend. Any of the Golden Natural, this is probably one of my other favorites that I use. This one here, the Dagger Striper, is probably one of the ones that I use the most, especially because I paint on, like, it's a little bit harder to paint on the smaller surface with it, but when I paint larger, I love this. And then this one also comes in like a, I forget what it is, 3/8 of an inch or something like that, like bigger. And I can also then, one of the things I like to do is usually I have another sketchbook or a piece of paper out that I can just clean my brush off on, because then I don't waste any of the paint that's on there. And then like it gives me a really fun background to then color over. So I can also add in some more color while this is wet. But I want to switch my brush to a new color and just add in a little bit of the green that's here. Like this one's pretty. You can see this one, it's got like a lot more of the yellow green that's in there. Oops. So I just put a little bit of color right there on the tip of the brush. And that I really love. I don't know if you saw what happened there, but it's kind of far away. But when you press it down, the water just flows and you see how it kind of just blends. That's because of this brush. So that water, when I tipped it down, let's see if I can get it to repeat itself so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm just going to add a little, behind the camera, yeah. Add a little line. And then there's already water in the brush. Like, remember I said it holds a lot of water. So when I tilt it, oh, that one, maybe I didn't have enough water. Let's add a little bit of water there. It kind of will, it's like when you want it to repeat itself, it doesn't. There, you can kind of see how it'll flow. I'm just adding a little dip of color in there, but it bleeds a little bit. These are such like little delicate flowers because of how small they are, because I'm painting tiny right now. But you can see what happens here, where see how it's drying, and you can see a little bit of the color separation there. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this color here. So what I like to do also is just kind of see what happens. So these, I think most of these layers are dry now. And if I wanted to do kind of a dry and then a wet on top to see if the colors, you know, what happens. when you mix the media together, or you know, when you layer. So you can start to make these marks over the top. And I actually love that color. So I wanted to add a little bit of darker line into this. I could. And a little of the paint on this swatch sheet goes a long way. And then if you have my other inks, you can also mix those in. This is looking a little crazy, but that's okay. I could actually take this also, and I'm just gonna grab a little color off of here and maybe mix it with this pink. Can you see that? Oh, it's not, I forgot I moved the camera. So I just took a little tiny bit of that color with this pink in here, and then I could, oh, look at that, it's so pretty. It made that pink is actually a lot brighter, but because I had that dark purple on my brush from the swatch sheet, then it created this really beautiful like magenta fuchsia type color. Let's see, Heather asks, are they a watercolor or more of an ink? They actually are, they look similar to the inks. Yeah, they actually are a mixture. Like if you look at them, you can actually see some of the pigment on the actual surface. So they act like an ink. And well, both my Watermedia inks and my watercolors, my Watermedia inks definitely are a little bit more transparent. Here, let's play with this one. This is from the Wildflower collection. And let's see what this one looks like on here. But definitely a little bit more transparent. Like this one, I can, because I mixed it with the watercolor, it's definitely more opaque. You can see the difference. It's like, I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but you can definitely see the difference. Let's, I'm going to swatch this one on here. So I have it. And then I could make little notes on here too, so that, you know, I don't forget like what I did. If I wanted to put like Wildflower pink mixed with that, what was that one? That was from the Fuchsia Blossoms. Okay, let's play with this. Let me add this to this. I'm just cleaning off my brush. Put this over here. And let's just drop a little bit of this in. So with any of my Watermedia inks, you normally need to shake them just a bit so that you get, hold on, let me wipe this out of here. So that you get all the mica kind of moving. Normally I don't like to clean out my palette. I just let everything stay in there, but because I want to show you this color as pure as I can get it. Is this wet still? I'm just going to put a little bit in there, and then this dried really quickly. I want to put, it's probably going to have some funky bloom because I just put water on a dry color. So if you ever wonder, you know, like sometimes you see like the watercolor do this right here, those little funky blooms. Sometimes they're fine, you know, they look fine, but if that happens because the watercolor underneath was already dry, and so then it creates, the way it dries, it just creates that little bloom effect, which I don't really mind. But so this is the ink on here. Let's do I have any, I cleaned that out, good. Let's do this on let's just do a swatch really quick. and then I'll paint something with it. Yeah, so they probably are a little bit more transparent than a watercolor, but they do have pigment in them also. So some of them may look a little bit closer to watercolor. So this is straight out of the bottle. One of the colors straight out of the bottle. And let's do a little. While that's drying, I'm just gonna do a little. So you make some really pretty delicate florals with this brush. So you'll start to see a little bit of the other color underneath it. Hopefully it doesn't make some funky blooms, but when this dries, I want to show you this. It's really pretty. It's got a little bit of pink undertone in there, and there's this beautiful mica. It's very subtle. Let me see if you can see it on the bottom. Sometimes with my inks, if before you shake them, you can see the mica. It kind of settles at the bottom of the. This one you can't really see. Let me see. Any of these other ones. Oh, here, like this one's a good example. Can you see that kind of like, it's really pretty. It's like this sunset red, pink, yellow mica that's in this one. And you get those subtle hints of those colors when they dry. That's the one thing I love about the way that I've designed. Most of my inks have some little tiny bit of shimmer, like these are the colors from the swatch sheets, but I'm trying to get the shimmer to show. I don't have enough like sunlight in here. Okay, so we did a couple of just swatching samples, and you can see this color is slowly drying on there. I really do love how you can layer the swatch sheets also, and you can also, you know, mix them, like I said, with my watercolors and inks. So if I take one, like this one's really pretty. This one, let's just drag this across the wet. This one has a really pretty, what's in here? I want to say that one probably has a little, one of my black pigments in there, but it's a blue black. Let's see if you can see, but there's also green in there. So it's this really pretty like midnight blue green. I did it through the wet ink so you can see it. It looks kind of blackish blue in the camera, but it's a really pretty, oh, I know what I'll do. Let's do, see what it looks like here. You see a little bit more. Yeah, that's really pretty. You could start to see some of that pink that's in there. I think it was from whatever I used before. Oh, it was part of this one, I think. Yeah, so really, I mean, they're really made to just experiment and play. I definitely recommend, you know, doing something like this where you are swatching them out and mixing them. You could also drop some of my inks right into them while you have color in there. So let's see if I do drop a little bit of this wildflower purple color that's in there. It's just going to kind of sit on top, but it'll mix with the colors that are, let me use my little swatch thing. It'll mix with the colors that are already on the swatch sheet. Let me clean off this brush again. And let's do a little swatch here. It's going to be like this really pretty purple blue color, I think. Yeah, see how See how it's like drying with that little funky thing there? But this kind of reminds me of the Man of War ink that I made with the Lani Kai collection. Oh, there, you can see it a little bit more there. This, so it's like this really pretty purple blue color. So that was dropping in a little bit of the ink on the top of the surface of this and then mixing the color with it. So now that this is dry, let's do a little bit of mixed media like play on top of it. I'm going to take a little of this color out of here just so it doesn't make some funny marks. And let me just, I feel like it needs another little swatch right at the bottom, right at the bottom here. Okay, so now that I have these fun little pieces, this is a really great way to make swatch cards. So if you took my ink and wax class, or if you're interested in like learning how to make your own little fun swatch cards for your sketchbook, my ink and wax class is a really fun class to explore. So this is how this is drying now. Let's see. Did I get everybody's? Okay, good. Let me start playing with some mark making here so you can see what some of these things do. I'm actually going to, let's grab one of the pigment bars from the, this is the one of the pigment bars from the Wildflower collection. So let's just, I'm just doing some mark making over the top. So this one's a little bit more of like a pink, like a pinky kind of purple. Let's see if you can see it better on this side. So really fun. Again, if you did this, if you use this on the underneath, it would be more of a resist, but you can also draw with it right on top. You can also use things like Prismacolor pencils, which one of my favorite mark making tools. These are also great to do like little abstract landscape studies, like using little tiles like this, because you know it's not like you're committing to like a big piece of paper. What's this? Oh, this is also Prismacolor. So I tend to do a lot of scribbling like this so that I can just see like what's happening with the actual colors. I have a couple of water soluble color pencils. This is one of the Aquagraphs. So what I did, you can't see, I have a water container. I liked, whenever I have a wet or a water soluble pencil, I actually like to use it dipped into the water because you get such a more intense color. This one's really pretty because it's like a slate blue color. This one's called, it's just called Blue. I found this at a store in Hawaii when I was there last time. I think I got that one at Hawaiian Graphics. And then I have an Inktense pencil. Let's use my favorite Inktense, if I can find it. It's probably buried in here somewhere. Is the Matter color, but I don't see it. Oh well, we'll use this one. This is the Peacock Blue. So that one got a corner of it that wasn't wet. So see the difference in the mark? See how it's like dry, like duller looking, and then when you have it with the wet area, it just is like so much more vibrant. Really pretty. Then you can also kind of take your finger and you know, kind of smudge it around. If you have water on your finger, you can move that around too. This is another one of my favorites. It's a Faber-Castell Jumbo pencil. This is like a sketching pencil, I think, but it actually is like, I don't know why it turns out the sepia color. But look at that. It's really pretty. And I don't think it's supposed to be a sepia color, but for some reason this one is. I've had this for years. That's why it has the pink tape on it, so that I can remember that's what that one is. Because, see, here is the same pencil. This is also, well, this is a 6B lead. This is an HB lead, but watch. Let's see. This one is just a regular graphite. Same pencil. Well, but different lead hardness. So, you know, just play. The other thing I wanted to share about that was, what was I going to tell you about that one? What other things do I have here? I have a Sennelier, I think this is like a metallic pastel. So this is on top of my Watermedia ink, and the underneath is the leftover from the paint mixed with my Watermedia ink sheets. So there's that little guy. Let's do a darker, let's see, do I have a darker pigment bar color? Let's see, I don't know how dark this one is. This one's actually more pink. It's really pretty. Oops, sorry, you weren't on there. So this is one of the, let's do it on here. I don't know if you can see it very well. You might. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. This is one of my favorite colors. The whole pink range from this collection is really pretty. Just go back over this so that you can see it. So that's one of the colors in the Wildflower collection. Here's another one of the kind of purpley mauve colors. Look at that. This particular color reminds me of the smoke bush tree, and that's how I created it. I went to I took a walk in the garden, and it had the most beautiful smoke bush trees, and I was like, I want to make a color of that color, and that's the color of, if you're familiar with the smoke bush, it's like really pretty. They use the leaves. Those leaves are, they're not really flowering, they're kind of shrubby, but they're used a lot in floral design. Okay, let's see, what other mixed media before we go? Let's just do one more mark over the top using one of these colors, so you can see now that some of this color underneath is dry. We'll just do some random florally marks under here. Really pretty. So when I wipe that away, you get to still see some of that pink that's underneath there. Composition on that is not really, I'm not really paying attention to composition, but just more of like, you know, playing with it. If you have any of my watercolor pans, you can also use these mixed in with everything. And, or if you have any of my pigment sticks, wax pastels, let's see, what do I have over here? I think I have a couple. Here's one of the wax pastels. I think this is Nature's Graffiti collection. There. So you can see this one over it. No, that one doesn't have a lot of, I thought this one had a little bit more of titanium white in there. Let me see if there's one of the pigment bars that does. Maybe this one. Let's see how this goes over it. Not too bad. You can kind of see the green over the purple there. And do I have any? Oh, let's do some white. What white pencils do I have? I have antique white. I've got a tinted charcoal white. and a Derwent drawing. Let's see. And this other Blanco color. So let's see what you can see. This is almost gray. I wonder if it's dirty. That looks gray to me. So that's the tinted oh, because that's tinted charcoal. I actually love the tinted charcoal pencils. These are all Derwent pencils. Let's see. So it's got that like charcoal hardness. It's good for, you're not going to see this very well in the camera, but so it's like charcoal in a pencil. The drawing pencil, it's a little softer, I think. Definitely you can see that a little bit better than the tinted charcoal. Oh, that's why it's gray, because that is the tinted charcoal. It's a little bit more gray. Is this water soluble? I forget. I don't think this one is. Let's try it. I just dipped it in the water over there. Yeah, no, it's not water soluble. Is it? I mean, it works, but I mean, it's not. I don't think it's. Here's another charcoal. This is. Oh, the paint under there's still wet. It's kind of pretty. It's very detailed for like really if you want to do some fun highlight kind of line work in like even over flowers, you could probably do a little bit, you know, if you wanted to accent with the charcoal pencil. And then this is antique white Derwent. Let's see, this is an ink tint, so I'm dipping it in water. This is a little bit wet, so I'm wondering how this is gonna affect it. It's kind of, ooh, I think I just brought the paper up. Let's see. I wonder. Now this is kind of cool. So, because this is white, and because it's water soluble back, and the paint is water soluble, you can go back in with your pencil and like make, like you could see I made this like really pretty pink, and or highlight. You know, you can. Let's see what happens if I do that. This was a little wet there. I don't think it liked it. And I think it also depends on the paper. That's why I always like am really encouraging everybody to try different paper substrates or canvases with these things, because, and even different grounds. So if you're using any kind of different, like I always talk about using super matte medium, golden super matte medium as a base. That's one of my favorite mediums to use underneath. So I wanted to see if that would mix a little bit. I don't know if it looks a little more white than like lavendery. But how about if I do it over one of these little swatches? And that's what these little swatches are great for. So I can go here and see if this is going to, this one's still kind of wet over here. I just want to see if it's going to like turn lavender. Yes. See that? Oh, it's pretty. A little bit. It's like this like tint with a hint of purple in it. So this is the Ink Tints pencil, which is kind of fun. So if you're using anything that's water soluble, especially that's the ink, that's like that was the ink from the actual ink bottle. So it mixed with that. Let's try this one. This was one of the swatches from the, let me just wipe off, get more water in my thing. This was one of the swatches from the ink blends, and yes, look at that. Oh, it's pretty. So you get this like really kind of opaque tint of the color. So that's kind of fun, because what you could do is, let's say if you had a clean surface. Oh, here, this was I want to demo anyways. So I have a bunch of my different inks and watercolors kind of just dried up in the ceramic dish. So I could come in here with my ink tints. This is the antique white, and I think that, I don't know if this is like a green blue over here, but I can actually like take a little bit of this and just draw it in here, and I can create like this little tint of the color. Now, obviously, if you're painting a really large canvas, then, you know, you're not going to want to do this because it's going to take forever. But if you're just painting something tiny, That's a great way to get a different color. And you could do that with any water soluble pencil. I just happen to have that white one, which is a lot of fun to, you know, make tints with different colors. I'm just cleaning my brush off. And then now I can pick it up here, and that's got some of my inks in there. And let's just put it over here first. So it's got like a little bit of white. So it just makes this like a little bit of a tint. I probably should have swatched out the original. Let's swatch out the original too. So clean this out. Let me see, how am I doing on time? 4:22. What time did I start? Let's see. Oh gosh, I've been on here for a while. Thank you if you're still here with me. If you have to leave, you can always come back and watch the replay. Let's take a little tiny bit of this color here. So this is the same color, but without the white in it that I just did. And let's swatch it. I'm trying to fit it somewhere over here. So definitely a little bit darker. It's like a greenish, similar to this color here. It's just like a tiny bit lighter tint with the white in it. So again, you know, play with what you have. I can also, then that's wet, I can also just draw right into there and see how the white just kind of like picked up. So that's the white. What if I use a different Derwent color? Like, ooh, I have a graphic tint too. That's a fun one. How about, I'm trying to look for a color that would look nice in here. Raisin. What's this? Prussian blue watercolor pencil. Where are all of my, here's one. Hot red. Oh, well, that's probably not gonna be a really pretty combination, but let's see what happens. You can see it got a little bit, Can you guys see my camera? Oh, hold on. Hold on, everybody. Hang tight. I think my camera might have got too hot. That's my cue. Yeah, I think it did. Which, it's because it's so warm today. Okay, let me come back to the screen really quick. Whew. Okay. Yeah, I think it's because the screen, I think my camera got too hot. So you should see me in a minute. That's the only problem with this particular camera. There you go. You should see me now. I have it plugged in, so it shouldn't be that hot, but I think it did decide to shut off because it was hot. It is warm today. We're not in the 100. We're not in 100-degree weather, but I think it is like 90, 96 or so, something like that. So I hope that you got a lot of fun ideas for the InkBlend Watermedia Swatch Sheets and how you can use them with a bunch of different mixed media and also my handcrafted watercolors and inks and pigment bars. And we are going to I'll be doing a fun unboxing and like a pigment bars box reveal once everything gets shipped out. And oh, let me show you really quick my journal. Hang tight for a minute. Okay, the camera still, my other camera still is not wanting to wake up. So the mini journal class that we are going to be creating is you can actually create whatever size journal you want, but the one I'm going to be sharing is something that's similar to this, where you will be doing some fun background stuff, but we're going to talk a little bit more about like different things that you can do. I have some of these swatch sheets placed in here. But it's really about capturing color and thinking about how you can do that, capturing color from the landscape while you're traveling, or it could be even if you went to the park or the botanical garden. And we're going to take a bunch of different papers to create our journals. So all of those stacks of like gel prints that you have, collage papers, inkjet prints, anything that, if you were part of my Swatch Studio membership, a lot of the printables can be used to make these kinds of journals. And we're going to talk about how you can bind and create some really fun collage inside your books. So I haven't taught a journal class in a long time, but that's really what I became known for back about 20 years ago when I first started my business. I used to teach handmade books and journals. So many of the journals that you probably have seen today from other artists have been highly influenced from what I taught like 20 years ago. So it's really fun to see. But I wanted to create this like really fun swatch journal. So really what it is it's collecting color and creating these little swatches, a little bit of mark making, and it's going to be a live class. So we'll do a couple of hours and then take a break and then a couple more hours for the day. And then again, you'll have access to a bonus live play session Q&A, which is kind of like a follow-up after. Usually I like to do it within 30 days of the original live workshop. And if you can't make it live, the recording is posted right after the live session ends, and then you have access to that classroom for its unlimited lifetime access to that particular class. So if you want to sign up now, there's early bird pricing for a very limited time. And if you sign up for the Wander and Bloom workshop, along with grabbing both sets of the swatch sheets, the InkBlend Swatch Sheets, then you'll actually get an Excel tile, one of these, as a bonus with your order. So if you want to grab those, you can go to tracybautistacolor.com and you'll be able to find all the details there. There's they're right on the homepage, but then also there's also a tab that says InkBlend at the very top of the home navigation of the website. So you can get all the details for the InkBlend sheets. And I'll be releasing a few more. I'm not sure when, but the Excel tiles, I'm gonna do a limited edition set of those. And a few other color sets that will be available in the coming month or so. So, sure, welcome. Great to have you here. Judy, Creations by Judy. She says, such great ideas, Tracy. Great. Have fun playing and trying them out. I'm looking at the playback and I'm hoping that it's okay. Yes, if you missed anything for that I shared today, go back and watch the replay. There were a few different tiles. Let me grab, if you're still here, hold on really quick. Okay, so some of the tiles that were picked up were some of my extra watercolor tiles. So I just thought I'd share. I thought that I would be sharing these and they would still be available this afternoon, but they got all swooped up. This one was one of my, I don't know, I have so many favorite collections. This was the Boho Vibes collection. Really, really fun, beautiful set of colors. And then probably my most popular set, because this was probably the first time that I designed a floral based watercolor palette. This was the Wild Bloom set, and I only had one tile available, and someone lucky got this last one. So hopefully you have used them. This one's, sometimes it's kind of too pretty to, like, you know, use, but that's the idea, is to actually use them. But there was a bunch of different watercolors that everybody scooped up. So thank you so much. Those will start shipping at the end of July. And that, I think, is everything that I wanted to share. So definitely come join us for the workshop. It'll be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to sharing more about my sketchbook and journal process, my journal making process in that workshop. Okay. Anybody have any additional last questions? I think I got all of your questions answered that were there so far. So thank you for those of you who joined me live. If you're watching this in the replay, feel free to leave a comment and say hi and let us know if you have any questions. And I am hoping to resume shipping the pigment bars for a couple of days this week, and then I think the weather goes crazy again, so some of them will probably go out later in the week. If you are in an area that you have like 85, 90 plus temperatures for an extended period of time, definitely reach out to our customer care chat on the website so that we can hold your order. I've had a number of you contact me that you would love for me to hold on to them until the weather subsides and gets a little bit cooler. So definitely reach out if you're in that situation, and we will get you taken care of. Thank you so much, everybody, and thanks for playing, and take some time to explore and experiment in your sketchbook. I will see you in my next live stream, or hopefully inside the Wander and Bloom class. Okay. Oh, and again, that class is actually late August, so you can find all the details at TracyBautistaColor.com. Okay, everybody.